Drugs. See y'all go in the park. System.
This is Sean O'Malley, and you're watching Full-Time MMA. Don't be a bagel biting, bagel bitch boy, bagel bitch back.
What is going on, Full-Time family? It's time to start the show. And yes, it is a lot earlier than usual because I got to be to work in about 2 hours. So, show might go for about an hour, maybe about an hour. I don't got a lot of time today because I still got to figure out a ride home from work. But yeah, so hour 15 minutes. We're gonna break down UFC Moscow, talk about the potential main event for UFC 230 at Madison Square Garden. And yes, you can see the lights are off today because it's pretty early. A lot earlier than usual. My girl, she works late night, so she's still asleep. So I ain't gonna cut all the lights on right now. But once we move, I'm gonna have my own office and shit, so we're good. But either way, I could turn the lights on now. I'm just not an asshole. But yeah, so what's going on, Full-Time family? Let's see who's in the building. Give some shout-outs to start the show. And also, we're going to start the show. You can see the McGregor vs. Khabib countdown has started. 21 days, Full-Time family. And in just 6 days, actually, we're going to have a UFC 229 McGregor vs. Khabib press conference. Hide the tiramisu, hide the speakers, hide the fucking wires, hide the dollies, hide the monster cans, because Khabib, McGregor, and Tony Ferguson and Anthony Pettis are likely to be on the same stage. Going to be a great press conference. I got work that day, man, and I really want to watch it. I might have to try and find somebody to take my shift for that day, like my brother or somebody, or call in something, because I don't think I can miss that. And also, another thing we're going to be talking about is there might be a huge announcement at the UFC 229 press conference. Might be a huge announcement. And that was broken down by Alpaca Thesaurus. We're going to talk about all of that. Let's start the show off with McGregor versus Khabib, UFC Yankovic. If you don't know, if you ain't know, UFC Yankovic, a lot of MMA parody songs, super dope. I mean, McGregor versus Khabib, a lot of you know what I'm talking about already because you're part of the Full-Time family. But if not, UFC Yankovic, make sure you subscribe if you haven't. Trying to get it to 1,000 subscribers. And that's how we're going to start the show, and maybe end the show with a blast from the past. You know, an old song, a new one. Tony Ferguson, God's Plan. Who knows, man? Let's have some fun. I'm going to play this, and then we're going to get some shout-outs, and then we're going to start the show. What's going on, everybody?
Is this Full-Time MMA now?
Skip past that. Here we go. They call me Conor McGregor, there's no one better. I'm a fuck Khabib up, then go rematch for money Mayweather. If this dog shit dagger stand, he thinks he can stand with me, I'll damage him and leave him panicking. Let Russia know I am the king. I don't like you, won't even pretend to try to. I've waited this long to fight you, you shouldn't have fucked with my crew. You ambush Artem Lobov in the hotel lobby, so we went and called gang. Now I'm coked up off of Molly, now I'm coming to the stage. So I think that you should probably stay the fuck up out my way. Somebody get me a dolly. What's going on, Webs PK Vids, Werner Voss, James Medina, Fat Ninja Flip. Yo, yo, yo. Yo, Conor McGregor, what the fuck is wrong with you? Come here, let me smash you like chicken, just let me humble you. You take all these drugs, but you won't take home a W. If we fight in UFC or if we fight with guns and crews. No, let me stop it, you don't want me to take it there. If you want, you can take a bear, send location, and I'll be there. Alright, Full-Time family, fun way to start the show. We got 20 people watching right now. If you haven't yet finished biting your bagels, do your boy a favor, hit the thumbs up button, it'd be much appreciated. Fat Ninja Flip says, dude, he's fighting. Looks like a military assassin. This is gonna be a good one. Yes, it is, man. This is gonna be a great fight. I can't wait. Originally, I was picking Oleinik. That's what my prediction says. But the closer we get to the fight, I'm actually starting to lean toward Mark Hunt. I think Mark Hunt might actually get the W. It's crazy, man. Godfathers, it sounds like you're coming down with the cold Full-Time. That could be it. Also, fucking allergies have been kicking my ass for a while now. I gotta get these allergies cleared up, man. But yeah, Given Your Name says, finally my notifications being clutch. Well, that's dope to see. I wonder if that's just curiosity. I wonder if they go out to some people and not everybody, because you got the notification, but you know what I'm saying, we got 8,000 subscribers, you know, and there's 20 people watching. So I wonder if they just go out to a couple of people or how that works. But either way, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? We're going to rock even if we only had 5 people watching. I don't really give a damn. We're just talking some MMA before work. So God Flawless says send location and I'll be there. What's going on, everybody? Speaking of send location, this weekend UFC Moscow location, that's the location. And then afterward, even we're gonna have Triple G versus Canelo too. I'm not a huge boxing fan, but since they're not competing with MMA that night, I actually might be watching that fight. So I think I'll do a live fight companion, talk a little bit about it, look at the odds for that fight if you're curious in that. I kind of am, because the first fight, as a casual boxing fan, even, we all know what happened. Adelaide Bird, shit, that's long story short. But I feel like the consensus, everyone felt like Triple G got robbed. And so I was curious to see what the odds would be in this fight. If he would be a favorite since he won the first one, how it's going to look. So yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about boxing. You know what I'm saying? Even though that's not our forte. And we might even watch some tomorrow. Who knows? God Flawless says, I have Mark Hunt by knockout till I see the stare down. Yo. Yeah, it's a good. Weigh-ins happened today. We're going to cover those soon. Well, let's just take a brief look at the fight card. And by the way, it's also good to note, my boy Forward, giving Surname in the building. Yo, Jordan. Giving Surname says, did y'all see Megan Anderson call out Coach? I seen that tweet. Yeah, I did see that tweet. Yeah, that was pretty interesting. Coach responded too, spitting back with that fire. Forward says Booger Bash 2020, Gorilla Smash 2020 until the belt. Lucky by submission. Lucky submission. Yo, Forward, you're fucking hilarious, dog. Lucky submission, I remember. You will keep that same energy from the day after the fight. No, that's funny, man. Give it your name. Got a Flawless. Size Matters Mark Hunt fight. Cycle size. Yeah, man, and also speaking of size, Alexi Oleinik likes to get those chokes, and Mark Hunt don't got much of a neck to choke, and that's definitely something that matters. And Mark Hunt, man, he had an awesome fucking media day. He was fired up, having fun, talking some shit. I mean, when he was talking about Fabricio Werdum, that was fucking epic. Like, we're about to play a small clip of that later on in the show. And actually, what hasn't even been covered by any websites that I've saw so far, Fabricio Werdum responded and he fired back with his own heat. I almost did a separate video on that last night, but I was tired as fucking setting up shit for the stream, setting up shit for the fight companion this week, and I just didn't do it. I figured we'd talk about it on the show, but Fabricio Werdum fired back. Boy, did he. So, we'll have some fun with that. But yeah, let's look at UFC Moscow. It's coming up this week, and a good thing to note about UFC Moscow is the entire card, I believe, is on Fight Pass. The early prelims and the main card. I think it's a UFC Fight Pass card. So let me double check on that, because that's what I saw, but right there on the screen you couldn't really see. It looks like we got a new subscriber. Shout out to ZNetYT for hitting the subscribe button, joining the full-time family. Much appreciated, good sir. Did I start our background music? Yeah, we're good. I'm going to take the intro off, too, before any funny stuff happens. Alright, so, UFC Moscow. Like, is it on Fight Night? It's a Fight Night, but I mean, is it on Fight Pass? I'm pretty sure it's on Fight Pass. The entire card, from what I saw. They should probably tell you this, right? Like, you can watch this live on Fight Pass. I'm like 90% sure this entire card's on Fight Pass. Okay, Web Fight Pass. Yeah, how to watch. It's looking like just Fight Pass. So yeah, that's what we're going with, Fight Pass. That's what I saw most recently. UFC Fight Pass. So including the 4-fight main card is going to be on Fight Pass as well. Another thing is that this is going to be a morning card. It starts at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. About a brunch card, It's a good time for a card, a little bit of a change up, and also it's a great time for a card if you don't want to compete with a huge boxing night that is Canelo Triple G. So, going to be a daytime card, be doing the companion and all of that with that. But looking at the Fight Pass prelims, let's just go over a quick look at the fights. We've, of course, already did our predictions and stuff. You can check those out on the channel, and our breakdown and everything. And also, we even broke down and predicted the entire early main card. You can check those out at the Full-Time MMA Dojo. But yeah, so we got Merab Dvalishvili taking on Terrion Ware. That's actually a good fight. Going to be a tough fight for Terrion Ware, who is a great boxer. Merab Dvalishvili seemed very well-rounded, though, in his last fight. Great wrestling against a great wrestler, Ricky Simon. I mean, he was really winning that fight everywhere in my mind until the end when he got caught in that guillotine. And Even though he made it to the bell, they ruled the fight for Ricky Simon, so it felt like a little bit of a robbery. But Terrion Ware also in his last fight against Tom Duquesnoy, he was winning that fight, and the judges gave the fight to Tom Duquesnoy. So both of these guys coming off of unfortunate losses where they could have easily got their hand raised, but now they're going to be squaring off, and they both need this win. If Terrion Ware loses this fight, he'll be 0-4 in the UFC. If Merab Dvalishvili loses this fight, he'll be 0-3 in the UFC. So these guys could be fighting for their UFC contracts, honestly. So we'll see what happens there. And then, of course, we also have Stefan Sekulik stepping up on shorter notice against Ramazan Emeev. Ramazan Emeev, very talented. He was kicking his opponent's ass in his UFC debut, if I recall, to like a last-second submission. Oh, no, he won. That's someone else later on the card. Ramazan Emeev's a beast, though. I mean, he has been kicking his opponent's ass. He beat Sam Alvey in his UFC debut. Then he went over to Brazil and beat Alberto Mina. So, I mean, he's a good fighter. He's a bit of a favorite in this fight as well because he's taking on a Russian fighter, but he's taking the fight on short notice. He's from Serbia, but either way, he's taking the fight on short notice, and so it is what it is. His original opponent was forced to pull out, but Ramazan's very talented. So we got Adam Yandiev versus Jordan Johnson. Jordan Johnson, I believe, a D1 wrestler, fought at light heavyweight, but this fight's going to be at middleweight. But in the UFC, he's 3-0 right now at light heavyweight. He's also, I believe, taking this fight on short notice, but he's coming down to middleweight, and he's taking on Adam Yandiev. Both of these guys are 9-0. Adam Yandiev is making his UFC debut, but he seems to be very talented. He's finished all 9 of his fights. He's also got a pretty big following, and so I think he's going to put up a fight, even if you don't know who he is. That's going to be a closer fight than you might expect. But Jordan Johnson's looked great so far in the UFC. We'll see what happens, man. Marcin Prachnio, Magomed Ankalaev, 9-0 versus 13-3. Ankalev's talented. I think he might be a slight favorite in this fight. Marcin Prachnio actually with a little more experience, and so that's going to be, I think, a close fight, but I think Ankalev's a little bit of a favorite. We'll see what happens in that fight. 205, light heavyweight fight. Yeah, man, Prachnio versus Ankalaev. And then a fight that I'm actually looking forward to, actually, quite a bit, man. Mairbek Taisumov versus Desmond Green. Taisumov's a favorite. He's very fucking dangerous, but Desmond Green is no slouch, and he'll probably be more of a challenge than any of Mairbek Taisumov's recent opponents. Now, it's hard for Mairbek Taisumov to get opponents and to get fights. A lot of guys, for one, don't take the fight, because he's a dangerous, he's a high-risk, low-reward. You beat Mairbek Taisumov, it's not like he's ranked, and he's very dangerous. So, kind of hard to get him opponents in that sense, and then when you do get him opponent, fuck around and have some visa issues, can't even make it over from Russia to fight. So he's not going to have any visa issues fighting in Russia, but now his opponent Desmond Green, and the fight's tomorrow, so I think we're good. If Desmond Green weighed in, we're good. But recently, he had some legal issues. He had gotten a car crash, and it resulted in 2 people actually dying, and so I was kind of wondering, is this fight even going to happen? It seems like it is, but so if this fight fell through, that would just be even worse for Taisumov. Like, he can't get an opponent, then he has visa issues, and now his opponent falls out. It's like, oh, what the? Like, he can't catch a break if that were to happen. But either way, Taisumov's knocked out like 4 guys in a row, but he's only had like 4 fights in like 3 years. So he hasn't been as active as a Desmond Green. Desmond Green's fought some really fucking tough dudes, tough grapplers. I think Desmond Green can pull off a big upset here unless he gets knocked out. And he's not known for getting knocked out. But he's a great wrestler. He's got great cardio. He's well-rounded. This is a good fight. Mairbek Taisumov's a pretty big favorite, but that's one if you were better. I would be keeping my eye on Desmond Green. And then on top of that, he has the legal issues. Is that going to distract him from the fight? Or is that going to give him a reason to just, zone into fighting and not be distracted by that shit? Man, I'm just about to focus on my fight, go that much harder, try and get this win, not focus on that, let the legal team handle that. I got to whoop some ass. So, I mean, that can really work both ways, but close fight. But, I mean, don't sleep on the Predator Desmond Green. He's a very talented fighter, man. So, we'll see what happens there. So, it's Mairbek Taisumov. We'll see what happens. We'll see if Mairbek Taisumov can get the KO. Or, I mean, it is in Moscow. It's in Russia. If it's a close decision, I could see Taisumov getting his hand raised. But, yeah, fucking Desmond Green ain't fucking around. Let's check out the chat. Before we get into Kabalov versus Johnson. Seismic Shock said, "What up, dogs? What's going on, Seismic Shock? Unemployed Mario Yamasaki in the building. They both weighed in already. Okay, that's good. Then the fight's gonna happen. So if that legal situation affects Desmond Green, it won't be for this fight. That's good to see. So the fight's gonna happen. That's dope. So yeah, man, I think Desmond Green actually can get the job done in this fight. I'm not gonna lie, and he's a pretty big underdog. So fuck with your boy. Make sure you check out that Fake Money Bankroll. You see what I'm talking about. Love these morning shows. Perfect combo, says Ever Loves Drugs. Who's waking and baking with full time? Ace, sounds dope. Hit it for me one time. Hashtag Sober 2018. But yeah, man, I'm going to actually start switching to this morning format. It works a lot better whenever I have a work shift. So I'm going to start doing these shows probably in the morning a lot more often. Actually, I'm going to try every day. Shit. Full-time MMA in the morning until the summer. Summer, that's when my schedule changes up. So Brian419 says, Weir needs the W. Do it, die, type. Yep, Weir needs the W. So does Davies. Davies might get another chance if he loses, but definitely don't want to start off 0-3. Botters Jr. says, R.I.P. Machine Gun Kelly. What, did Eminem actually drop a song? All I saw so far was the interviews. I was like, that's not what I needed, brother. Botter Jr., and I hope you saw my damn Black Thought 10-minute freestyle reaction, because I literally only did that for you. I did it. I put it up on the Full-Time Entertainment channel that day, so I did it. I told you I would, and I did it. Rodney Timberwolf says, 420, my dudes. What's going on, brother? AP says 420. Well, goddamn, y'all got me. All y'all, take one from me. You know, maybe I'll catch a contact by the end of the stream. Fat Ninja Flip says, wish I could pass it. You motherfuckers off. It's stoner bashing time and shit. Yo, that's. I'm gonna change up the tip alerts lately. But stoner bashing time is hilarious. You guys remember that? God Flawless says, does John Jones headline UFC 231? John Jones might headline UFC 230. We're gonna actually talk about that. So let's continue looking at these prelims. We got a fight where I feel like the UFC is trying to get Cajun Johnson the fuck out of here. They're throwing against Rustam Kabalov right after making him fight fucking Islam Makhachev. He's getting thrown at all these unranked dudes that are very high level. Islam Makhachev, Rustam Kabalov, they could easily beat guys in the top 15 if they were given the opportunity. But just like Maribek Taisumov, do you know how many fucking lightweight Russian killers there are? A lot of them ain't even ranked yet. That's a fucking Shark Tank. It would suck to be an unranked UFC fucking lightweight. Because you got like these fucking just Russian sharks that are keeping the gate to the top 15. Like you might have to go through Kabalov, you might have to go through Makhachev, you might have to go through Taisumov, and then ultimately, if you make it up the ladder, you get to the fucking final boss, Khabib. Like, whew, that lightweight division ain't fucking around. But Cajun Johnson, one of the only 3 open members that I know of Project Spearhead, him, Leslie Smith, Ally Quinta, and we saw what happened with Leslie Smith. UFC got her the fuck out of here, and now we got Cajun Johnson. He actually won a split decision against Stevie Ray, which was interesting because I felt like Stevie Ray did good in that fight. But hey, Cajun Johnson, he's a good fighter. He's a talented fighter. But when it comes to wrestling against these Russian savages like Islam Makhachev and Rustam Kabalov, it's going to be hard for anybody. And he got submitted in the first round by Islam Makhachev. Now he's got to go to Moscow and fucking take on Kabalov, and he's just doing it, taking it in stride. You know what I'm saying? Fuck it, facing it. He's vocal about fighters' rights and shit like that, and now he might be facing the consequences. It's going to be a tough fight, man. He's taking on Rustam Kabalov in Moscow, so I think he's a pretty big underdog in that fight, and it's understandable why. But he's got some good experience. But Kabalov's a beast, man. But if Cajun Johnson could come out here and like pull off a crazy knockout or submission, like that would just be like a funny moment. I don't know how I would feel. I would feel good. It would be like a feel-good moment because it would feel like he was kind of sticking it to the UFC, who it seems like is trying to punish him, right? It seems like that. So if he could like knock out Kabalov or submit Kabalov, the UFC would like have to keep him. You know, if they're trying to get rid of him, it would be huge. It would be a huge win. I don't see it happening, but that would be fucking crazy. Yo, pull up MGK before hair transplant. Whoa, okay. Let me check that out. Yeah, that's just somebody I was talking about with one of my friends. He was saying like, there's no way MGK came out with that song in fucking 2 days. It's way too lethal, way too crazy. Everything. It's too good of a fucking song and stuff to be recorded in 2 days. So I think he got a point there. He probably was sitting on it for a while, but some of it he had to write recently, you know, because he was responding to Eminem, who just dropped his shit on a surprise. So he had to like some of the verses, like, because he was talking about what Eminem just said. So maybe he had a team. I don't know, man. But yeah, that shit was crazy. But yeah, let me check it out. I asked you a question. You said R.I.P. Machine Gun Kelly. I was gonna see, what did Eminem respond? I saw his interview with Sway, and that's not how I wanted him to respond. Potter Jr. says it's funny because Machine Gun Kelly's experiencing biggest exposure. Them young kids haven't heard M's past diss track. Yeah, did he respond yet, man? MMA Addict, yeah, so can't forget Cannabis. Yeah, Eminem back in the day, one thing, he didn't go at a lot of rappers. He went at Cannabis, you know, and a lot of people in the Murder Inc. camp, but back in the day, he really was going at pop stars. This time when he came out with that Kamikaze, boy, he was going at rappers. He was going at rappers, and now you got some rapping ass people rapping back, so interesting situation there, man. But yeah, M's got to come back with the track. Got to come back with the track for MGK. He's in a kind of a shitty spot, though, because like a comeback at MGK, of course he's going to come back again. Even more exposure for him. Bada boom. So, but with the level of animosity and vitriol that MGK came with in that track, we got to have something. It's just unacceptable. You don't even got to respond to nobody else. You just got to respond to MGK for me as a fan. That's what I need to hear. So yeah, man. But we'll continue with the UFC talk. After Cajun Johnson getting fed to Kabalov, we got the co-main event of the Fight Pass early prelims. Peter Yan versus Jin Soon Sun. Peter Yan is a fucking beast. 8-1, fighting killers in the ACB before coming to the UFC. He's a beast. I think he might be one of the biggest favorites on the card. He's really good, Peter Yan. So he's taking on the South Korean Jin Soon Sun. I don't think it's going to be a good night for Jin Soon Sun, who I think might be making his UFC debut. Potter Jr. says, R.I.P. MGK. But did he respond? Am I tripping? Did he respond? I hope you're not just talking about that interview, because that wasn't enough for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that wasn't enough for me. That interview was not enough. Godfall says, not a true real lyrical artist can make a song in a matter of minutes. Yeah, that shit's tough. Like, not in a matter of minutes. Like, maybe if you sit in the booth for 48 hours, you can come up with a good song. Because, I mean, but yeah. I mean, that had a lot of substance to it. That much fucking substance, that'd be hard. This here, a rapper of his age, especially, yeah, fitting in everything you want to say. We got the main event of the Fight Pass prelims. Khalid Murtazaliev, who's taking this fight on super short notice against the Doberman CB Dalloway. CB Dalloway, this is his third opponent for this fight. He had an original opponent taken from him, and then his second opponent, like a few days ago, pulled out of the fight. And so now he's got a new opponent. And in all three of these fights, CB Dalloway has been the underdog. Now, clearly, it's going down. His first fight, he was just picked to lose. Next one, a little less. And this one, a little closer. But it's funny because he's still the underdog. It's like the odds makers are just think CB Dalloway cannot pick up a W in Moscow. And they are in Moscow. He's fighting a Russian fighter. If it goes to decision, that could definitely come in effect. You know, first event in Moscow, I could just see all sorts of, I don't want to use the word fucking corruption, but I could just see all sorts of Adelaide Bird type shit going on where you're like, what the fuck? Did you just give that dude a 30-27 and he got his ass kicked? What are we doing? So I could see something like that going on. I could just see like some Russian favoritism from the judges over there. Maybe I'm tripping, but that happens really a lot of places, you know, hometown advantage kind of with the judges. It's very rare you see that not happen, but what happens a lot of the time is the crowd will fucking see the Russian fighter land a shot and they'll go crazy. It might influence the judges. Like, oh, that was a good shot. Like, because the judges, half the time, no less than me, a fucking MMA YouTuber about who won the damn fight. But hey, it is what it is. That's just how it goes. So we'll see if CB Dalloway can get the win over Khalid Murtazaliev. I looked up Khalid where I was doing my breakdown. He's not near as his resume is not near as impressive as like Peter Yan. I don't think he's as good as a Maribek. Like all these other Russian dudes, Ramazan Ameev, you know, like a lot of these dudes are, I think, another caliber than this Khalid guy, but still in Russia, 13-2, got some experience. But yeah, I think I'm giving the edge to CB Dalloway with this new opponent. Also, he's got very short notice, his new opponent, so that could affect him as well. Bob Cratchit says, Putin's a gangsta. I will give the nod to foreign fighters this time around to set up the UFC like a crack dealer, giving out free crack rocks to the first time for the customers. So do you mean the foreign fighters as in the non-Russian, or do you mean foreign as in Russian? I kind of see what you're saying if you're saying the edge to the Russian fighters, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? That's almost some tinfoil shit. I don't want to get, well, all of us independent channels, I wouldn't say I'm not shadow banned anymore because you can find me on the search bars a lot better, but still, as far as the suggested videos tab, we're all getting cucked. You know, if you're not a mainstream channel or something like that, you don't get put in the suggested tab, only to your subscribers. So that shit went way down. That's why a lot of independent channels are experiencing that. I think YouTube's trying to promote this YouTube TV shit, so they're putting out a lot of less of us, you know, because if you can just watch independent creators for free who are making great content that's fine for you to enjoy, why the fuck would you go to YouTube TV and watch those TV shows? There's literally millions of us creators out here making shit for you to watch all day. Why would you watch YouTube TV if you can just watch YouTube for free? And so it seems like they're making it to where we're a lot less visible to new people, so they might just grab YouTube TV or some shit. So, I mean, that's happening to all of us anyway, so I'm just going to fucking be open about shit, because I don't think it's about anything I said. I think it's, now, as far as the GoFundMe is getting shut down, that's another, I think that might be a troll, I don't know. But I don't know. I think we're pretty much cucked anyway. But at least on fight nights now, we're showing up on the searches, and that's more than you can ask for. But I do agree. I said that to say this. I do see what you're saying as far as, you know, like a, you know, I can see a lot of Russian fighters winning on this card, being the debut. Like you said, like, you know, letting a crack addict try that shit the first time. Oh, that's good. I gotta come back for more. So, you know, you show up. If you're a Russian fan, you go to the fights. Great night. A lot of your favorite fighters win. You know, if you showed up for the first Russian event ever and all the Russian fighters lost, I mean, fuck this. I'm not coming back to a UFC Russia. Like, we got our asses kicked. And that's why I think there's a lot of heavy favorites on this fight. Like, a lot of these guys, Davishvili and me, they're like 4-1 favorites. Like, Yandiev's a pretty big underdog, which is surprising. I don't know why they would do that to him. Like, this guy has a big following, 9-0. Why would they try and... I don't understand why they would give him such a tough matchup in this fight. But Jordan Johnson is, I believe, taking it on short notice out of the lower weight class. That could affect him. But Yandiev, I would think he's a guy that they would like to get a win here. But it's a tough fight. It ain't that easy, see, clearly. Ankalev, I think he's a pretty big favorite. Tysonov, same deal. Kabalov, same deal. Peter Yan, same deal. Ankalev, not as big of a favorite. But there's some big favorites, you know, that way. You show up, bunch of wins, boom, like, I was so good, fucking Peter Yan won, Kabalov won, Tysonov won. So that way we come back for more, like you said. So MGK repeating how M's the GOAT while attempting to diss him is hilarious as well. That's a chess move. That's fucking chess, dog. That's what made us Eminem fans respect the diss. Even the Eminem's fans respected that diss because he was like, listen, we know you're the GOAT, but boom, he hit him with his own shit. Like, that diss was fucking thought out. It was well planned. If he just came at Eminem hating, talking shit, and didn't give him that respect, Eminem fans and Eminem stans would be like, fuck MGK. Fuck that diss track. You're clout chasing. But the fact that he said Eminem is the GOAT multiple times made that shit better because it gave it the acceptance of the Eminem fans. YouTube TV sucks. It's corporate garbage. Says, what is the Matrix? I've never checked that shit out. I just know YouTubers are getting shit on now that shit's here. But hey, it is what it is. Careful, full-time spitting truth to the people will get you shadow banned again. I know, man. It fucking sucks. But I don't even fucking know what to do. Because even though we're not shadow banned, we're still cucked. The only thing that's changed, like, we're not shadow banned because we show up on fight night. But our suggested video, like our video counts and views and everything, are still completely shot down, and our suggested views and where we get our new traffic from is still in the drain. That shit's not changing. So at least on fight night we'll get a pop, but the rest is still not changing. We're still kind of cucked as far as compared to what we used to do at 1,000 and 2,000 subscribers. Way more than we do now. You know what I'm saying? And we've still got people from day one that rock with the channel and stuff. So, I mean, either way, if you're an independent channel, if you don't fucking, you know, sign up, if you're not a journalist on some you know, if you're not in the regular media or I don't even know, fucking, like signed by a label, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not signed to some deal or something, have some connections, you're kind of cucked as an independent creator. But at least we got, the good thing for us is at least we already have our base. At least we already have the family. You know, even if we have 28 people, 40 people, 60 people in the live stream, we're good to talk MMA. We don't need no thousands of people. But if you were trying to start off and then that happened to you, that would be real shitty, because it'd be hard to grow. But one thing I've noticed is the channels with like 1,000 to 2,000 subscribers, they still getting those suggested videos, so it'll keep them growing. And then once they hit about 4,000 or 5,000, that's when they get kind of shut. You know, that's when they start kind of getting shut down. But it's really smart by YouTube. It's really fucking smart, because once you have a small base, it's going to motivate you to keep grinding and keep grinding and keep grinding, hoping that one day, you know, something changes and you come up. And so we're over here putting our fucking lives and souls into our YouTube channels, getting like fucking half of a penny on the hour. You know what I'm saying? Because we have this little base, we want to keep continuing to grow and stuff, and our channel, we want to keep being a creator. But man, YouTube is making a killing, because with what they're doing to people on these ads right now and the suggested shit, yo, it's hard out here for a pimp. Or for a simp, I should say. What up with the simp segment? We got one more of those coming up, man. The simp segment, I think that's going to be a favorite of the simps of the world out there and the casual fans. Everloves Drug says 50 also stayed relevant with this tactic. Let's see what Botter Jr. had to say. I want to hear what he has to say about this. Needs to have content and validity. Botter Jr. says just dissing ain't enough, homie. He needs to have content and validity, and that's the thing about MGK. I'm not a MGK guy. I'm not looking up the MGK library. I'm talking about that diss. That fucking diss right there. That's all I needed. I mean, as far as what he was trying to do, he did. Now, I'm sure there are some people that became MGK fans and they're looking up his catalog. I'm not doing that quite yet. And as far as content, substance, longevity, he's not sniffing Eminem's fucking shoes. But that fucking diss did the job. And Eminem still ain't responded. It's been over a week, and I felt like Eminem kind of took a L when he did that interview. I mean, he got views, but I'm like, dude, we needed a track. Honestly, I don't want to see this interview. And then when he talked about MGK, he sounded petty, and he admitted, yeah, I'm being petty, but he just didn't have a good response. And he was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do at this point, but I'm going to do something. It's like, well, you ain't responded with the track in this whole week, and now you're doing an interview, and you still don't know what we're going to do about this whole MGK situation? Bro, you got to put out a track. Like, there was a clickbait Eminem song that got like 7 million views in one day, where somebody sounded like Eminem, and they were dissing MGK, and then in the song, they were like, this is clickbait, MGK, like, they admitted it was clickbait in the song, and fucking, they still got 7 million views because everyone is waiting on Eminem to respond, and he's not. So that's unfortunate for an Eminem fan. But UFC for Dummies says, no way. Pump MGK. Bob Cratchit says, Jelly Roll's MGK diss was funny as hell after MGK talked shit on him. I don't know who Jelly Roll is off the top of my head. That's YouTube. That's that YouTube I was trying to put you on with, says God Flawless. I'm not sure exactly. I don't know if I missed the first message. Shalom, balance, righteousness, and all 100, says CFR Sports. What's going on, brother? Botter Jr. says it's the same with how Cannabis went. And Cannabis, yeah, that one was a lot less mainstream. Even as a fucking hardcore Eminem fan that read all of his lyrics all the way up from Slim Shady LP, I didn't even really know much about his Cannabis diss. So that was more of a hardcore thing. Everyone really don't even know about that Cannabis shit. But it was still Eminem's one of his shining moments as far as dissing another rapper. But other than that, Eminem really was known for dissing pop stars. This was one of his first times coming out and dissing a bunch of rappers, a bunch of different rappers, and it's honestly kind of backfiring, man. I still like Kamikaze though. I think he did a good job with that though. M killed MGK in one verse already. I know you ain't talking about just the little Kamikaze thing. That wasn't enough. Not even close. Not with what MGK brought back. I'm an Eminem fan, but he ain't done enough to respond to MGK yet. Unless he put out a track in the last 24 hours that I don't know about, Eminem has not done enough. He has not done enough. Full-time, you're the Jadakiss of the YouTube industry. You always have that set base. We riding with you, Will. Hey, that's dope. That's what I'm hoping for. As long as the full-time family we have rocks with me, we're good. You know what I'm saying? I can't do what I used to do, like putting out fucking separate videos every fucking day, because I used to 8 hours, 10 hours a day, but that's not where it's at now. Gotta go to work more often, so just a quick stream every day, I think that's still good. We'll still grow. Fight night, still get our pop. We're good, man. Just rocking with the family. Q8 Pitiful says, what time is the fight? The early fight pass prelims start at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, and the main card starts at 2 p.m. Eastern. So earlier in the day, about lunchtime, at least where I'm at. Full time, have you seen the McGregor sparring footage? Yes, sir. We played that on the show yesterday. That's how we started off the show. Boy, did he look fucking amazing. We saw everything in short clips, takedown defense. We saw jiu-jitsu. We saw kind of working on his fucking wrestling. We saw striking. We just saw everything you could need. We saw it. He gave us a fucking taste, and there was plenty. I really feel like it was almost too much. And it might sound crazy, but if you watch, was it The Weasel? I think it was The Weasel. I think The Weasel broke down Conor McGregor's little sparring footage, and he just took each one of those clips and slowed it fucking down, and he analyzed it like a whole fucking fight footage. I was like, damn, this dude saw like 5 seconds of footage, and he's like, you can see right here, Conor McGregor fucking showing amazing takedown defense, amazing. I'm like, well, goddamn, this dude maybe kind of showed us too much. Khabib's team better be breaking higher in The Weasel or something, or breaking down The Weasel's video, because The Weasel broke down 5-second clips like full damn training footage and shit. So Conor showed enough in there. He looked amazing. I prefer the live streams, to be honest, as giving sure name. Okay, well, that's dope to hear. That's dope to hear. I know some people prefer it the other way, because on the live streams, and hopefully one day we'll get a timestamp, man. But, you know, some people don't really want to listen to a full 2-hour show or something before, you know, they don't want to find where the MMA talk is and stuff like that. But so some people, you know, don't listen to the full 2-hour show, but some people do prefer it. So yeah, that's appreciate that. But yeah, so I'll still do some videos like on the biggest topics. I'll still do those sometimes. But yeah, I like this live show format as well. And honestly, this is more content, because back in the day, if I put out 10 videos that were 6 minutes long, 7 minutes long, that's only an hour's worth of content. And we do a show like this, we're live for 2 hours, and technically it's less of, you know, because I don't have to make the thumbnail and then record the audio and then put them together and then upload it to YouTube and then do the tag. It's a lot less steps, so more content, more efficient. So yeah, these live stream formats, I like these as well. When are you planning another Google Hangout full time? Maybe this Sunday we'll do one after the fights. This Sunday, probably. Sunday in the daytime sounds like a good time to me. So yeah, Sunday sounds good. Bada Jr. says, just to see how the young kids were caught off guard with how skilled Black Thought is, shows the generational gap in hip-hop. Organics, holy shit, you said a bunch of stuff that I didn't even know of. Yes, yeah. Man, the generational gap in hip-hop, I was thinking about that the other day, and not even from the generation, because now I'm starting to get it. Now that I'm a little older, I'm like, you know, the hippity-hoppity stuff, when we were growing up and listening to Eminem, 50 Cent, and all of these people, you know, more like gangster rap, I guess you can call it now, that's what we liked. And whenever we heard a hip to the hip, we're like, what the fuck is that old nonsense? Like, it's not trash, but that's just not what we listen to, you know, that's just not it today. And now, you look at the 50 Cents and the Eminems and all of the all the shit we used to listen to, compared to what the kids nowadays are listening to, and then what's popular today with the Trippy Reds and the 6ix9ines and the XXX Tentaciones and all of that shit. Now they're probably looking at us and the 50 Cents and the Eminems and shit like, yeah, it sounds good, but that ain't got the melodies. They are not fucking with what we listen to today. So now I kind of get it. You know, it's like the generational gaps. It's like, okay, so that's how these hip-hop, a hip it to the hip-hip motherfuckers were feeling whenever all this the stuff we liked was coming out. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy how that stuff works looking back at it. YouTube jail, says God Flawless. Man, we're out of YouTube jail, I feel like. We're out of YouTube prison, but we're still in the YouTube, like, halfway house. You know what I'm saying? Because I already suggested it. But it is what it is. We got to break down the main event full-time feeling. Let's get that done. I don't got a lot of time. I got about 35 more minutes, and we're still breaking down this fucking card. I could probably go for 3 hours today, but I got work, and I still got to figure out a fucking ride home from work because we got one car, and we just got it fixed up. My girl's got her job, so she's got to go to work, but she's got another job that she's got some shit to do at. So normally we would be good, but I might have to figure some shit out today. But this is going to be a good fight. Alexei Kunchenko versus Thiago Alves. Alexei Kunchenko 18-0. He's another favorite. Thiago Alves, not the Thiago Alves of old. A lot of people say he hasn't looked the same since USADA. That might be true, but either way, he's still got a lot more experience, legit UFC experience than Alexei Kunchenko. I don't know if that's going to be enough to beat Alexei Kunchenko, who was the M1 welterweight champion, undefeated, like, very talented fighter, dangerous. So give the edge to Kunchenko in that fight, remain undefeated. I mean, he's looking good, and he's making his UFC debut. So we'll see how he does against Thiago Alves. We got Andrei Arlovsky versus Shamil Abdurkimov. This is a super fucking close fight right here. I don't know who's going to win. Both of Big L says ever loved strokes. You know what's crazy? I don't know. I've heard some of Big L's songs, and one of the main reasons I know who Big L is because I was such a big Eminem fan. And that line where he's like, "Sprinkle a little Big L on top. What the fuck do you got?" I was like, "Who's Big L?" I really don't know Big L's catalog. So now I get it. You know, the people that respected Big L and all these lyricists of the old hip hop, like that we were sleep on when we were kids listening to Eminem and shit. Now I get it. Like, damn, there's probably some heat that I missed with Big L and a lot of these guys. Like, I heard some, like, I don't know if it was fucking public. It was on the Joey Diaz podcast. He starts off the show with the song every time, and it was an old school hip hop song where I know I had heard the chorus 100 times. But they were talking about some fucking woke shit. Like, they were on, like, some conspiracy type of shit. Like, talking about the government and stuff. But as a kid, I never heard those songs. I was like, who was those motherfuckers back in the day? Like, you heard the chorus a million times. I don't know if it was Public Enemy. I don't know who the fuck it was. But, they had a song, and I was like, damn, I didn't hear that my whole time growing up. That was some fucking heat, and it was out before my even time, so it's crazy. There's a lot of shit that I know I missed out on, and yeah, man, like you said, like the Big L's and all of the Public Enemies and stuff, like, when I was a kid, I wasn't no music historian. I was listening to what was hot, and so now a lot of that shit is crazy, man. You say true hip-hop, and that's what I'm saying, like, I really don't know what I missed out on. I want you to go listen to Big L right now. I got to. I want to listen to a lot of that shit, man. But you don't know where to fucking look if you don't know. You know what I'm saying? MMA God, shine your light on the Pitbull. Andrei Arlovsky says remove Lizard 0. I gave the edge to Arlovsky. This is another one, man. These two heavyweight fights. I'm giving the edge to Arlovsky, but the closer we get, I'm like Shamil's from Dagestan. 18-4, better record. He's still up there in age, not quite as old as Arlovsky, but he's got some good sambo, I believe, or some good grappling. Shamil could present some threats, or he could present a challenge to Andrei Arlovsky. He could win this fight. I gave the edge to Arlovsky, but I don't really know, man. Shamil could very well get this win. So we'll see what happens in this fight, but Andrei Arlovsky ranked number 12. He could be on a 3-fight winning streak. 1 second. Because he was coming off of that fight with Tai Tuivasa, and in that fight, I thought Andrei Arlovsky actually won it. I felt like he was doing a good job. I won't say he won the fight, because I've seen worse decisions, but I'll say I thought Andrei Arlovsky at least did enough to potentially squeak out a decision. A lot of people expected him to get knocked out against Tai Tuivasa. He didn't do that. He actually busted up Tai Tuivasa pretty good in that fight. But now, He's taking on Shamil Abdurkhamov coming off that decision loss. But Andrei Arlovsky not too long ago at one point was on a 5-fight losing streak, snapped that, and he went on a 2-fight win streak. Could be on a 3-fight win streak, so it's really hard to tell where he's at right now. But I would not count Arlovsky out by any means. So I'm actually giving him the nod in this fight. And honestly, you know what I think? I think if he can win this fight, I think, because look, we have 2 heavyweight fights on the main card, and I just was thinking about this today. The UFC does this sometime. Like, I think whoever wins these 2 fights, they could match up against each other next. Like, let's say Oleinik wins and Arlovsky wins. We could see Arlovsky versus Oleinik next. Let's say Arlovsky wins and Mark Hunt wins. We could see Mark Hunt versus Arlovsky next because they're on the same card. Same thing with Shamil Abdurkhamov. Whoever wins these fights, I think they could potentially be fighting each other next, honestly. So, whatever that means. But I give the edge to Arlovsky, the pit bull, because he hasn't looked terrible in his last fights. It's not like he just needs a miracle in this fight. Shamil Abdurkhamov was looking good against Derek Lewis before ultimately, I think, being KO'd in the 3rd round. He lost to Derek Lewis, 4th round KO, TKO. Took him down a couple times. He's got, like I said, some good grappling in this division for sure, which could be a problem for Arlovsky, but Arlovsky's a vet. He most recently knocked out Chase Sherman in the 1st round, so Shamil could very well just like win this fight. I mean, he's got a win over the big ticket Walt Harris. That's a good win. So he's got some wins, man. He's only 35, 18-4, a great record. He could, he might win this fight. I wouldn't be surprised. This is a toss-up for me. Going to be a great fight though on the main card. Given your name says Arlovsky's not good. He looked good in his last 3 fights. Well, against Tai Tuivasa specifically, I thought he looked good. But I mean, when you say not good, I think what you mean is he's not prime, he's not championship, but he's definitely good. He's a good heavyweight, just what he's shown in his last 3 fights. But I think I know what you mean. Like, not, maybe he's not going to be fighting for a title, but he's still good for sure. He can still win this fight. Mumble rappers should be forced to listen to Gift of Gab featuring Raw the Rugged Man, Afro Freedom Flowing. It's an education on rap flow. Mumble rapper, they ain't listening. There's a lot of shit they should probably be listening to, you know what I'm saying, Butch? And what's crazy is a lot of the mumble rappers could actually spit, and they have a flow. Like, Trippie Redd, he's had a couple freestyles where he was actually, like, rapping and keeping up with the beat and the flow and everything, sounding good. Also, Juice WRLD, he's freestyled a couple times and sounded dope, but then they get in their fucking mumble, depression, fucking fucking Xan bag, whatever the fuck, where they want to, you know what I'm saying? And I like a lot of that shit. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even like a fucking pillhead, but I be vibing the fuck out to a lot of that shit. The Juice, all of that shit. I'm actually a big fan of that. I actually am one of the people who, like, I'm a big lyrical dude. Like, I like the Jaron Bentons, the whole Hobsons, the Eminem, all of that shit. I like a lot of lyrical shit. I'm a big fan of it. It's what I came up on. But I'm still able to listen to this shit and appreciate it. I actually like a lot of this shit as well. So, hey, it is what it is. But I don't got time to... We need to start a separate channel for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got not enough time. We're still on the first part of the show. We ain't even got to the news. Yo, we got to break down the co-main event. I got to stop talking about all of this rap shit, dog. I want to be late for work, and I can't be. Well, I can be, but it's not the day. It's not the day. I still got to find a ride home from work. And my phone's off, so I got to use the phone before I go to work or use the work phone. Crazy shit. So, yo, it's crazy how long we could go today if this was just a regular show, because we ain't even got to the news yet. We ain't even halfway through. So let's do this. We're going to speed through the rest of the show. We'll chop it up tomorrow. We're going to be doing a live fight companion at UFC Moscow. Same time around now. When the fights are on, we'll be live watching the fights. So we'll chop it up tomorrow. But I got to stop responding to the chat from here on out, or I'm going to get sidetracked. So shout out to the full-time family. Let's talk some MMA, and then we'll be back after work and tomorrow to talk some more. We can talk all this shit because I love this. I'm a big hip-hop fan, so I'm completely fine with these conversations, but I just don't got time right now. So Jan Blachowicz taking on Nikita Krylov. Nikita Krylov's nickname should be the Finisher, or his nickname should be Finish or Be Finished, because he's 24-5, 24 wins, all by way of finish, 5 losses, all finishes. Literally out of 29 fights, he's got 0 decisions. What the fuck? That's very crazy, considering he's got 29 fights and 24 wins. Very talented fighter. Left the UFC. Now he's coming back. This guy should have been top priority for the UFC. 205 pounds, finisher. I mean, the light heavyweight division was not the most stacked lately. Now it's coming back, though. This shit's getting crazy. The lightweight division is going from being one of the least stacked divisions to getting real crazy all of a sudden with Corey Anderson, Ilir Latifi, Nikita Krylov, Alexander Raychik, Dominic Reyes, OSP, like a lot of these guys coming up and shit starting to shake out and the division not being log jammed anymore. We're starting to see some up and comers. We got some talented fighters at the top of the division. Of course, Gustafsson always there. And then you got Jan Blachowicz, who looked amazing against Jimmy Manuwa. And now we got Krylov coming back. Like light heavyweight starting to have some brighter days for sure. But this is going to be a comeback fight for Krylov. Crazy. He finished 5 guys in a row in the UFC, lost 1 fight to Misha Serkinov, then either became a free agent or left the UFC. I think he became a free agent. Maybe he was, gambling on himself. Like, man, I won 5 fights in a row. If I win this one, like, it was his last fight on his contract, and he figured if I win 6 fights in a row, they got to cash me out. And then he lost, and he was like, damn, I didn't get what I wanted. So he went and fought for Fight Nights Global. He fought 4 fights. He fought 3 for Fights Night Global, 1 for another organization. All 4 wins, all 4 finishes. Now he's back in the UFC taking on a top 4 ranked guy. And I just really think it would be so fucking big for Nikita Krylov to get a win here. It's going to be really tough because Jan Blachowicz is no pushover, and he just made one of the most lethal strikers in the division look kind of silly in a fight in Jimmy Manuwa. I mean, Jan Blachowicz was the underdog, ranked a lot lower coming into that fight, and he won it pretty decisively. So now he's taking on Nikita Krylov. He's definitely got what it takes to keep the finisher at bay and potentially outpoint him and win a fight, or even knock him out. Jan Blachowicz, he's got finishing power as well. He could win this fight for sure, but for Krylov, this win would be so huge. For one, we're in Russia. He's from the Ukraine. For 2, he needs a win because this win right here would put him, if not ranked number 4, right back at ranked number 5, where he could very likely already be. He lost to Misha Serkinov, who was ranked in the top 5, I believe, at the time, on his way up. And so this win for Nikita Krylov put him right back where he left off, right back in the rankings. If he loses, I mean, for one, it's going to suck because he lost. But for 2, he's not even going to be able to come back, hop in the rankings where he probably should be. He'll have to get a different opponent next. And so that would suck for Nikita Krylov if he lost this fight. So I think he might actually edge out the victory. Very dangerous coming back, fighting in Moscow. There's a lot. This is going to be a fucking great fight. And I think somebody actually is going to sleep. If you look at Nikita Krylov's record, that's not too hard to predict. But I think somebody's going to sleep in this fight, whether it's Krylov or Jan. I mean, Krylov is finished or be finished. And then, of course, the main event, two top 10 ranked heavyweights pretty much, Alexei Oleinik and Mark Hunt, the Super Samoan versus the Boa Constrictor. Boy, Mark Hunt had some words for Werdum at the media day, and Werdum responded. Let's get into that. I mean, the thoughts on the main event. Alexei Oleinik has the better grappling. Mark Hunt, stand-up extraordinaire. You know what I'm saying? He's willing to get in a slugfest, knock a motherfucker out, the king of walk-offs. He could win this fight by knockout or decision. I mean, it's going to be a 5-round fight and a heavyweight fight, so that's interesting. It'll likely be a finish before that, I think. I think this fight will be a finish. Mark Hunt's either going to win by knockout, or Alexei Oleinik will find a way to find the choke. I gave the edge to Oleinik. He'll definitely be the better grappler. We are in Russia. But at the same time, man, the closer we get, I'm actually, if you ask me my prediction right now, I would tell you Mark Hunt. I think Mark Hunt's going to win this fight. But I did my predictions about a week ago, and I gave the edge to Oleinik, and it's that close. It's not like I regret my decision. It's not like I feel stupid for making the pick. It's that fucking close. He's actually 2 years younger than Mark Hunt with about 3 times the fight experience, the better grappling. You could say he's more well-rounded, but he's going to have to get the fight to the ground. And in his last fight against Junior Albini, he was getting clipped up. You can't do that against Mark Hunt. The Man Channel just joined the Full-Time family. Shout out to the Man Channel. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button and getting your full-time MMA white belt. Much appreciated, good sir. But yeah, so Mark Hunt, he's going to be hard to take down, and he don't got much of a neck to choke. He's a tough matchup for Oleinik. And he got clipped up against Albini before he decided, okay, I'm done with this. I'm taking your ass down and choking you out. Pulled guard, pulled Ezekiel choke, and he was out of there. But you can't get clipped up on the feet against Mark Hunt. You'll fuck around and be out of there. So that's why I think Mark Hunt might just come in around and get this fucking knockout. Bada boom, bada bang. and it's just like that. So, close fight for me. Super close. I don't know who's going to win. I give the edge to Mark Hunt today, but my predictions say Alexi. It's that close. So, moving on, let's look at the weigh-in results for the fights. Only 2 fighters missed weight. No one on the main card, I don't believe. Just Maribek Taisimov and Jin Soon San. Jin Soon San is going to be fighting Peter Yan. And earlier in the year, there was a trend. Fighters who missed weight were winning a lot of their fights. That trend hasn't continued. All fighters that missed weight haven't won by now for sure. But Taisimov already expected as a big favorite against Desmond Green. And that's the fucking shitty part about this is not the first time this has happened to Desmond Green, dude. Man, I gotta pull up his record now because that's kind of a shitty fucking situation. But hey, Desmond Green's already in a shitty situation. But for Desmond Green, like, he's just, even before the car accident, he's kind of got the shit end of the stick. And this is not the first time he went to enemy territory and they missed weight against him because he's a great wrestler. He fought Josh Emmett, won a close split decision, and could have been unanimous, but that was already kind of the start of the fuckery, right? When you win a unanimous decision and they give you the split. So they gave him the split. Then he had to fight fucking Rustam Kabalov. He lost that fight. Very talented grappler. That's understandable. That's kind of like Cajun Johnson. You got to fight he just had to fight one of those unranked savages. And anyone who gets that matchmaking, clearly you're not on the favorites. Do you think the UFC would ever put fucking Sage Northcutt against Rustam Kabalov? Get the fuck out of here. It's never going to happen. Sage Northcutt won't be fighting Rustam Kabalov. He won't be fighting Islam Makhachev. He won't be fighting Maribek Taisimov. If the UFC likes you, they're just not going to do that to you. And they did that to him, so hey, it is what it is. They put him against Kabalov, lost that fight. Okay, cool, took that L. Then they put him against Michel Prasaris, who's a very talented wrestler, now fighting at welterweight. You know why? Because he missed weight by like fucking 5 pounds against Desmond Green, who still took the fight in Brazil. So Michel Prasaris, they're both grapplers, comes in 5 pounds overweight, wins the fight. Close fight. Desmond Green still put up a hell of a fight against an overweight grappler. I was like, okay, that's fucked up. I gave Desmond Green a lot of respect after that fight because he still took the fight and he kind of got fucked over in Brazil. So I'm like, okay. Comes out, fights Gleison Tibau, smashes him. Not super impressive. Wasn't able to get the knockout. Kind of a boring performance. But he beat Gleison Tibau. And now he's getting thrown at Maribek Taisimov in Moscow. And Maribek, of course, misses weight, which is going to make it that much harder for Desmond to utilize his grappling. And so that's more of an uphill battle for Desmond Green. So that sucks for him, but hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's literally, it is what it is. But like I said, if you think the UFC would ever put fucking Sage Northcutt against one of those guys, you're crazy. So with that being said, everyone else made weight. Jin Soon San's going to be fighting Peter Yan. He's probably still going to get his ass kicked off weight. And then Maribek Taisimov, he's a big favorite. Missed weight. He's probably still going to win. But like I said, your boy Mystic Fulton's pulling for Desmond Green. I think he can actually win this fight still. And that's just, you know, my expert analysis, which is actually not expert. But still, whenever Desmond Green wins, just don't even say nothing. I don't even rub it in. Just say, all right, Mystic Fulton, it's just another one. So if Desmond Green wins, just fuck with your boy. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, let's move on though, because I want to talk about Mark Hunt. Boy, I had to pause this at the right spot because Mark Hunt had some words. They're bleeped out here, but let's check this out. Boy, I gotta fucking speed through this show, you guys. This is crazy.
It's been a chain of them, you know, and you know, yeah, it's not a good feeling. But I'm honestly excited to be here, part of the Russian opening. I'm glad that Fabricio Werdum got caught, the little you know, go back to the favelas. You little good job, you know. He was supposed to be here, but
yo, god damn it. I'm gonna be late to work today, guys. This motherfucker just fired off out of nowhere. Fuck you, little cunt. Go back to the fellas. Bitch, yo, Mark Hunt. This shit was epic.
Honestly excited to be here, part of Russia.
Look, I'm excited to be here, and then he just fucking turns on fucking Werdum. Watch.
Russian opening. I'm glad that Fabricio Werdum got caught, the little you know, go back to the favelas. You little good job, you know. He was supposed to be here, but you know, that's what you get for being weak. That's what you get for being a weak-minded person. See you later.
Oh my fucking Lord, family, I'm gonna cry. Yo, seriously, you guys can see the fucking My shit's watered up. Yo. Fucking good for him. Fuck you, you little cunt. Go back to the favelas. Like, just so casual, dog. Yo, let's go, my God. That shit was fucking epic, but, there's history. They got so much of a fucking history. Oh, my fucking Lord, dog. I just wish they could fight again. One last fight. Mark Hunt versus Werdum. But now Werdum's suspended, which gave Mark Hunt this ammo. Now, Fabricio's responded to this. He's responded to this. And we're going to go to his response because it hasn't been covered yet. But, boy, like, I want to give you a brief history if you don't already know between these guys. I really don't got the time. But, I mean, just long story short, they fought once for Mark Hunt on short notice. He felt like Werdum kind of cheated in the fight, landed some illegal knees, got the knockout after he cut weight on short notice, which could have affected his performance. So it wasn't Mark Hunt's best performance. He took the fight on short notice, took the L. Now he wanted the rematch, and Fabricio was like, nah, I don't want to come to Australia to fight you for the rematch. And he was like, it's the taxes and stuff. And he was like, you dog shit, chicken shit, coward. Like, you're not going to come over here and fight me? Like, and so he went off on him, and Fabricio then takes Mark Hunt's place in Australia. So he wouldn't go to Australia to fight Mark Hunt, goes over there to fight Tibura, and takes Mark Hunt's fight. Mark Hunt was supposed to fight Tibura, got pulled out of the fight, and Fabricio takes his fight. So he goes over there after he said he wouldn't, and takes Mark Hunt's main event. So that pisses, you could imagine, that set him off even more. And then it comes full circle because he fails a fucking drug test, and now Mark Hunt's taking his fight. This was supposed to be Fabricio's fight. He was supposed to be fucking fighting in Moscow against Oleinik. And he failed a drug test, and full circle, Mark Hunt's taking his fight. Yo, it's so fucking perfect. It's crazy. And Mark Hunt's like, yeah, bitch, now, yeah, it's great to really be taking your fight one more time.
You little Werdum got caught, the little you know, go back to the favelas. You little good job, you know, he was supposed to be here, but that's what you get for being weak. That's what you get for being a weak-minded person. See you later.
Okay, full-time family. I don't want to play the whole thing because we don't got time. But, yo, Fabricio's responding. He posted this video. He posted the knees. He posted the fucking knees, the knockout. He said, oh, hey, look, it's the fat little Samoan bobblehead trying to make himself relevant again by putting my name in his mouth. I've got something else you can stick in your mouth. This time, it's going to be my left knee. Here's a little reminder just in case you forgot. Actually, you probably don't remember any of it anyway. Oh, get it? Because Mark Hunt said he was starting to forget shit. You don't remember what he had for breakfast? You probably don't remember it. Yo! And do not forget to follow me on Instagram. Motherfuck. For Fabricio Werdum versus Mark Hunt, I'm predicting it. Mystic Full-Time's got a prediction. Damn, I don't want to make it because he's still suspended. I think we can see this fight again in the future. I was going to say Bellator can make it happen. Okay, I'm still making the prediction. I'm going off on a limb. Mystic Full-Time, I'm on to something. I think this fight happens, okay? And I say this because just because Fabricio Werdum got suspended for 2 years, if you buy it, you're crazy at this point. Do you know how many fucking Brazilian fighters have now been men fighters? It's happened, and Cyborg, she's not a man, but there's a lot of fucking Brazilian fighters that are fucking popping, and everyone thinks they're cheating. They lose their fight, they lose their money, people start calling them cheaters, and then USADA comes out 6 months later and says, oh, by the way, it was a tainted supplement and wasn't their fault, they were using the wrong lab, so fucking they're innocent, they're back. So 6 months from now, Fabricio is going to get cleared by USADA. He was innocent, wrong company, wrong supplements, and then I don't know if he comes back to the UFC or not, but what will happen, I think, is he will go to Bellator. I think we're going to see Mark Hunt versus Fabricio possibly in Bellator, the rematch. We all want to see it. I haven't ever wanted to see it as bad as I fucking do now. Mark Hunt casually ripping into him. Fuck you, you little cunt. Yeah, but that's what you get. You weak-minded person, motherfucking. And then Fabricio, I didn't expect this heat from him. I didn't expect to see this when I was scrolling through the Insta, but boy, I haven't even seen this on the MMA websites yet. Somebody sleep at the wheel. This shit was hilarious. So Fabricio responding, we got to see that again in the future, and it doesn't look like we will right now. Mark Hunt got a couple fights left in his career before he calls it in his contract before he calls it quits and potentially goes to Bellator. Mark Hunt and Bellator, I think that's going to happen. I think that's going to happen. I don't think Mark Hunt's all the way done. Maybe he does want to retire, but I don't think that's the case. But he did say he has one more fight in the media day. He said potentially win or lose here, he'd like to fight at Adelaide, which would be a great card for him because that's where Tai Tuivasa's fighting. Might be his last fight on his contract. And he could potentially, like, pass the torch to Tai Tuivasa if that's the last fight on his contract. And then Bellator. I'm repping Bellator. Hey, I can see that happening with Mark Hunt. And then, I don't know how Fabricio is going to get cleared. Maybe USADA's just going to come out and let everyone know, oh, yeah, we fucked up for the 15th time in a row. Sorry, guys. That's our bad. Fucking bad supplements. And Fabricio is going to get cleared. But I actually thought Frank Mir had a USADA suspension and he was still able to go fight for Bellator. Or somebody had a suspension, or somebody got some sort of USADA suspension and they went to fight for Bellator. So, either way, we'll see how that goes. But Werdum versus Mark Hunt, holy shit, have they been going at it. With that being said, let's talk about the potential main event for UFC 230. I'm not actually going to play the full clip because I don't want copyright reasons, but it's on Alpaca Thesaurus, one of the best MMA channels out there for sure on YouTube. This dude breaks shit down like psychologically on a mental level, and like he seems like a fucking a psychology professor. Like he's that good with the shit. He seems like somebody that should be teaching other people the way he breaks shit down. And he saw something at UFC 230 in between some interviews that led him to predict that Daniel Cormier and John Jones are going to be squaring off at UFC 230. And what happened was on the broadcast they were talking about the card. And I'm going to play one spot, and I hope Cavassier the Newt don't get mad at this. He shouldn't. If so, you can have the ad money. I really don't care. It's fucking pennies. You can have the pennies if you want them for this little second, but I don't think he will because he's not one of those big fucking, you know, in TMZ entities. So I don't think he'll do me like that. And by the way, go subscribe if you haven't. Like I said, one of the best MMA channels out there. But great video. It's called "Who is Headlining UFC 230? Joe Rogan's Secret Slips." And instead of naming it, you know, his prediction, he did it. I think he did it the right way, the respectful way, because, you know, the UFC doesn't want their main events announced or shit like that early. We saw what happened with Ariel Helwani, lost his media credentials and shit. So when he announced Lesnar versus whoever the fuck he was supposed to be fighting, Mark Hunt, you know, he got his media passes taken away. So, you know, even if you do pick up on something like this and know some information, the UFC, you know, they don't want you dropping that shit like that. So he's respecting that by just naming the video like this. He could have named the video fucking John Jones versus Daniel Cormier headlining Madison Square Garden, but he didn't do that. And I like that because that's dope, you know. And that's why I did that in the title. I put Joe Rogan knows UFC 230 headliner, even though watching this video and putting all the clues together, I do agree. I think we're going to see a big announcement, and I think from everything that he put together in this video, and you can conclude yourself, it's likely to be John Jones versus DC3. Now, let me give you a little background, just so you don't have to watch this whole video. But what's going on here is, during the UFC 228 broadcast, they were showing the UFC 230 card. You know, Nate Diaz and Dustin Poirier is already on there. Madison Square Garden, but it doesn't have a headliner. And so they were talking about it like, and Joe Rogan let us know, and just wait, there's a big announcement to come. Like, hold your breath. I know something you guys don't know. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, so that's going to be announced. But Joe Rogan did let us know that the headliner is set. He didn't say who it was, but he said he knows something we don't know. Just wait. And so Cavassier, the new Alpaca Thesaurus, points out, he's like, so that lets you know it's going to be something big. If it was just fucking John Jones versus Alexander Gustafsson, might not be as big. The return of John Jones would still be big, but it's not just Joe Rogan's response. Also, he was standing next to Anik and Cormier, and he breaks down Anik's physical fucking reaction. Like, he got a little like, oh shit, like, you know, like, I hope Joe Rogan doesn't leak something that he's not supposed to leak right now, and you know, so he kind of tensed up a little bit. Daniel Cormier didn't react at all. He didn't say, oh really, who's it gonna be? Like, he was trying to keep something a secret. He didn't say, oh, what do you know? Like, Daniel Cormier didn't really react to it much. And so he broke down all, like, the physical aspects, the body language and shit, giving his prediction on what's going to happen. And then, like, a lot of other things, like, that lead up to it, led him to believe. And he said also in this video, you know how the UFC announced McGregor versus Khabib on that press conference, right? At the end of the the summer press conference when Nate Diaz was there. That's why he walked off, because they announced McGregor versus Khabib on his press conference, and he got pissed off. And so, you know, the UFC likes to announce big fights at press conferences. What was just announced? Do you guys remember? Oh yeah, the fucking McGregor versus Khabib press conference was just announced for UFC for September 20th. 6 days from now is going to be the press conference. And so, and he speculated that they're going to announce this fight at the end of that press conference in a similar fashion. Oh, and by the way, everyone's been waiting for the main event, Madison Square Garden headliner. Fucking John Jones is coming back, DC3. Now, I still don't get it. I still don't get how that can happen. I still, even though I believe it's going to happen somehow, and I'm optimistic and I think it can happen, I don't know how. John Jones is still fucking suspended. If he gets a 2-year suspension, he's not eligible to be back until next year. It's just not. UFC 214 was in, I believe, like July. So if he gets a 2-year suspension of last year, if he gets a 2-year suspension, he's going to have to be out until July of this year. And so I just don't fucking see how John Jones is going to be cleared in time to fight at Madison Square Garden. But all signs are pointing at John Jones coming back. And so if it was for DC to not react at all, it seems like he might know something. And so there's just a lot of reasons to watch UFC. I would say this. There's a lot of reasons to watch the press conference at UFC. We're all going to be watching anyway, McGregor versus Khabib press conference, because after watching this video, I really believe they're going to announce McGregor versus Cormier. Because another thing he pointed out, what's a bigger oh shit moment than Nate Diaz versus Dustin Poirier? And that's something I believe I heard from Chael Sonnen in the past. If the UFC has a co-main event that makes you go, oh, the main event has to make you go, oh! Like, they're not going to make a co-main event outshine the main event. The return of Nate Diaz is huge. He's taking on a contender. Like, that's huge. That's, oh shit, Nate's back. And what's going to make you go, oh! John Jones versus Gustafsson? That'd be a good fight. You'd be like, okay, cool. More be like, what the fuck? How's he back? But what would make you go crazy? John Jones versus Daniel Cormier. I mean, even Cejudo versus Dillashaw, I don't think that could happen this early. And I don't even know if that would make you go. It might, maybe that, but John Jones versus Daniel Cormier 3 right now would be crazy for the heavyweight strap. John Jones from New York, Madison Square Garden, winner takes on Brock. I mean, it's just so perfect. So that is so, and I've been hearing that's what the UFC wants. I've been hearing they want John Jones back. The question is, can they get John Jones back in time? But it's facts at this point that they would like to have John Jones headline that card. The fact is, can they get it done? So we'll see what happens. But yeah, check out Cavassier's video, because not only is it Cavassier's video, there's some fucking UFC footage in here. So I'm not trying to get this channel shut down with the live stream. So either way, salute to Alpaca Thesaurus. He broke it down. Great video from him. But yeah, so we got to continue. Don't got a lot of time. Lawyer Conor McGregor has no way to defend himself in this Michael Chiesa lawsuit, is what Conor McGregor's lawyer, or is it Michael Chiesa's lawyer? It might be Chiesa's lawyer, actually. But there's a lawyer said there's definitely a legitimate case. It might just be any lawyer talking about this, you know, giving us an update on what can happen in this situation. But he said there's definitely a legitimate case who specializes in criminal defense and personal injury. In fact, because McGregor pled guilty in the criminal case, and in criminal cases the standard is higher, it's beyond a reasonable doubt. It's not a preponderance of the evidence because he did that. It's virtually a defenseless case. You can't defend this case. There's no way to defend it. Even if he didn't plead guilty, there's 450 videos showing this. There's really no substantive defense. There's no other way, because there's no defense. There's no way Conor can defend this case. He pled guilty. He allocated in open court what he did wrong. There's no defense that's admissible in this case. So he's saying since Conor was guilty, he let you know, like, he did what we're suing him for. But I would say, though, so yeah, I'm sure Conor's would have to pay something, but the question is how much. But he said what they can do in this case is they can really put Conor through the ringer. They can make him sit for a deposition. They could tape the deposition. They can make him really uncomfortable. He doesn't need that. He has money. He has fame. He has everything. He's not going to want to be dragged through the mud. He's going to pay whatever he has to pay. Whatever he pays will pale in comparison to what he makes in a couple of weeks. There's really no reason for him to defend this case. Settle. Boom. Settle And that's what people have been expecting from the very beginning. Nobody was talking about Conor McGregor going through some fucking long-ass case, drawn out, losing all of his money because of this scratch or the prick on Michael Chiesa's forehead. But a very realistic scenario is you sue Conor McGregor, and he's just going to pay you to get the shit out of his face. He don't want to go through the deposition, being taped, and having to do all this bullshit when he can just pay you money that he has plenty of. If Conor McGregor, let's just say, has $100 million, Michael Chiesa, I'm sure, would love $1 million. Give him $1 million. We still got 99. Fuck out my face. That simple. So, not much of a defense. Probably going to have to pay some money here. And if I was Ray Borg and Rose Namajunas, I would be doing the exact same fucking thing. But that's just broke code me. If you got money, you probably feel differently. But I'm just saying, like this lawyer said, there's no defense. If you want like a free $1 million at this point, you can kind of raise your hand. We saw the video, Ray Borg. We know you went to the hospital. We know your fight was canceled. If you want $1 million, just say aye. But Ray Borg has said he's not going to sue Conor in the past. But aye. Rose Namajunas, she's fucking still suffering. She needs $1 million. Get Rose $2 million, as a matter of fact. She's really suffering. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, defenseless case. Now let's talk a little bit about Triple G versus Canelo before we. At the end, this is how we're going to do the end of the show. We're going to do it like fast topics, quick hits, if I must say. Like after the simp break, the simp segment, which is going to be quick today, we're going to just speed through shit. Boom, 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 because I got to go. But Triple G versus Canelo, we got the odds. I'm picking the same person that won the first fight, aside from Adelaide Bird. Now, that might be wrong because, I mean, I could see a lot of people doing that. And so, in the first fight, and also I'm going to look at the rest of the card because just as a casual boxing fan, I wanted to talk some shit. What the fuck is going on in boxing that there's a 5,000 favorite? This dude's the champion, and he's a 5,000 favorite? 500 to 1? 500 to 1, really. That's what we're doing in boxing. Who sanctioned this? How is this sanctioned? That sounds like the odds for me versus fucking Brock Lesnar. Like, yeah, I don't got a chance. 5,000 to 1. Don't bet any money. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? So, like, I don't know what's going on with that, but I just noticed those odds and thought I'd talk a little bit of shit. But, yeah, another big favorite down here. You don't see these odds. Valentina Shevchenko versus a newcomer wouldn't be 5,000 to 1. Maybe. Like, literally, she fought, I don't know, that's crazy, them odds. But the main event, Triple G versus Canelo, I think Triple G won the first fight. Everyone felt like he got robbed, and it's still a close fight. Which, as a casual fan, what that would make me do is go put a bunch of money on Triple G. And that's probably when it's going to come back in another fucking draw, and everyone just loses again. What if this one ends in a draw? That would be so fucking funny if this fight ended in a draw as well. Like, another draw. Oh, what if Adelaide was on the card? Who knows? Either way, Triple G versus Canelo is tomorrow. It's the rematch. We might do a fight companion since we're not competing with the UFC. We're for sure watching UFC Moscow, but that's daytime. So if you guys want, we might fuck around and come back for a Triple G versus Canelo fight companion. Who knows? I'm not the biggest boxing guy. I'll get me a fucking Red Bull and try and make it to the main event. But yeah, man, so it is time now for the motherfucking simp segment, full-time family. And that's not the simp segment that we're looking for. This is the simp segment we're looking for. You hear the music. You know what time it is. It's a sausage fest in here, am I right? I mean, salute to Cam Murphy, maybe Rugby Queen, Mary Thomas, they come through sometime, Bikini Doll, but the majority of the time, it's just us, you know what I'm saying? Just chopping it up. I mean, I got the analytics. If you run an MMA channel, you know it's 92% guys. And out of those 92% guys, there's probably 82% simps. People that, I won't say simps, I'll say people that appreciate a beautiful woman. And so this segment is for you guys. I'm not even going to say you guys. I'm not going to put you out there like that. We all got a little bit of simp in us. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit. Maybe it's for one person other than others. Let's see what Stitch Abu's talking about on the Insta. No, I don't want to hear no music. Damn. Hold on, let me mute the music. Desktop audio. We don't need music for this, sweetie. Just working out. Just some workout. Stitch Abu, just working out. You know what I'm saying? That's all that is. That's all that is. Just some good working out. Alright, now let me stop it so the music's off and I can put the desktop audio back on. But yeah, full-time family, what's going on? And so what for the rest of the show, though, what we're about to do is we're about to pretty much speed through the show because I got to get to work. I got to stop and get something to eat on the way to work so I can skip my lunch break and just work through it. That's how I like to work. I skip my lunch break and just get all my shit done. But yeah, so what we're about to do for the rest of the show is go through and like a fucking auctioneer even and just speed through this shit, dog. You know what I'm saying? So let's get out of the simp segment. Full-time family, put your dicks back in your pants. And let's talk about the rest of this show. Let's check out. I don't got time to check out the chat. I always want to see what you guys are saying during the simp segment. The simp pride, lordy, glutamus maximus. Let's go. Oh Lord, sweet Jesus, says remove lizard. Before we cracking up. I might only watch the companion because this card ain't doing much for me, says Given Sure Name. Okay. I like the card, but I'm easy. You know what I'm saying? I like a lot of these fights. So, Botter Jr. says, shout out to our homegirl Adelaide Bird. Haha, she definitely didn't make the fucking simp segment. A lot of simps holding their dicks right now. Yo, great segment. 10 out of 10, says Given Sure Name. I'm glad you guys enjoyed. I stayed up till like 7 in the morning making that whole segment, finding the music, making the fucking theme and shit. I just had some fun. So, I'm glad you guys enjoyed the simp segment. So, yeah, let's get through it. Cyborg talking about... Or Nunes talking about her fight with Cyborg. She expects to be the greatest fighter of all time with the win over Cyborg. And that's just facts. I mean, not much to break down there. If she's the bantamweight champion, the queen of the bantamweight, she goes up and beats fucking Cyborg, who's one of the greatest of all time. It's just facts. You're P for P, #1, and you're the GOAT. Valentina Shevchenko gets the nod by a lot of people. They feel like, for one, she could have beat Nunes. I don't think she did, but some people give her the nod. But also, she's fighting at 2 weight classes. So the fact that she's fighting at 2 weight classes, having success... A lot of people give Valentina that nod over pound for pound. But if Amanda Nunes can find success at another weight class, which she has had out of the UFC, so she's already fought at featherweight in the past. But if she can beat the featherweight champion, there's no question. If you become the first female champ, you're the female GOAT. And yeah, so that's what she expects with the win over Cyborg. So we'll see what happens with that. Moving on, Michael Chiesa moving up to welterweight, hopes for a fight with Carlos Condit at UFC 232. Michael Chiesa just got put in a triangle armbar by Anthony Pettis, and he's also suing Conor McGregor. So he might be getting some money from that. But as far as his UFC career, he might be needing some money because he doesn't have, in my mind, I mean, and this is just a lot of guys that go up from 155 to 170. They don't look amazing. Cowboy Cerrone was great at 155, and he's fought some tough fighters at 170, but he hasn't had the best resume up there, the best record. It's tough up there at a new weight class. And so things might not go great for Michael Chiesa since he's not having success in his natural division of lightweight. He got submitted 2 times in a row, and that's his game. I mean, he's known for his jiu-jitsu, and he just got submitted twice by Kevin Lee and then by Pettis, so that's not good. So now a fresh start at welterweight. And if this don't work out, then he's probably going to put Conor McGregor through the ringer. He don't even want a settlement. He'll probably come for the full $100 million, and that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But yeah, who knows? This might play into why he's like, all right, let me sue Conor now, because it's been a while. I'm surprised he didn't already sue Conor. But maybe he was waiting for Conor to plead guilty, and now, like the lawyer said, now he can't defend this case. So we'll see what happens there. But he's hoping for a fight with Carlos Condit at 232. And that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to pick and choose your fights if you're going up to a division, because there's going to be some tough guys. Could you imagine a 145er coming up and having to fight like fucking Maribek Taisumov or something? Or no, they'd probably come up and try and say, hey, give me fucking Yair. Like, you know, like they'd probably say some shit like that. So we'll see what happens. But this would be a fun fight. I don't know who would win. Carlos Condit maybe with this. Michael Chiesa kind of seems like a bully a little bit here. Carlos Condit doesn't have the best submission defense, I think you could say. He got submitted by Neil Magny recently. So Michael Chiesa's like, maybe I can move up and submit Condit. That'd be good. Like, you know, and it's not like I want to move up and become the welterweight champion and go through the grinder. I'll go up and take on Condit, though. He's a big name, right? Maybe I can submit him. But other than that, Michael Chiesa doesn't have much going for him right now. Maybe he has success at welterweight. He did recently get the Fox gig. Maybe he can do that. You know what I'm saying? But other than the lawsuit and the Fox gig, we'll see what's going on with Michael Chiesa's career from here on out. I'm not gonna lie, I would love to. I would watch the fight. Chiesa versus Condit's a fun fight, but I just don't know about Chiesa at this point. It is what it is, though. Given Sure Name says it was a great case of when output numbers didn't tell the whole story. I thought Nunes won personally because Val's strikes didn't seem as significant. Might need to watch it again. I thought Nunes won because that's a good reason, and also people expected her to not have a gas tank. And didn't she get a takedown in the 5th round? She fought Valentina the second fight, had a gas tank, and even if people question your gas tank and you win the 5th round, that should shut a lot of those people up. But she kind of gets like some of that heat like Tyron Woodley. And what's funny is she's not even out here complaining, right? Like, or fucking doing what Tyron. She's not race baiting. You would think Amanda Nunes was coming out here and race baiting and complaining as much hate as she gets, but she's not. She's just fighting the top contender. Well, maybe that's not the case anymore. When she fought Ronda Rousey, she got away from fighting the top contender. And right now, Caitlin Vieira, you could say she's not fighting that top contender, but she's fucking fighting Cyborg. So it's not like she's fighting a weaker fighter than the #1 contender. But for whatever reason, I posted a video and I had to delete the comment. I'm not even a fucking social justice warrior, but I just don't like seeing comments like that. Like, the video where I was talking about Nunes versus fucking, or not Nunes. I was talking about the WMMA triple header, and I was talking about Shevchenko versus Joanna on the same card as Nunes versus Cyborg, on the same card as Andrade versus Rose. And I've seen this with Nunes too, but it was actually about Andrade. I deleted the comment. They were like, I don't even like Jessica Andrade, Jessica Andrade, the nasty Brazilian fucking steroid-looking dog, but I think she can beat Rose. I'm like, god damn. Like, that's just a little too far. Like, I just deleted the comment. I didn't block them, but comment was just a little too far. I was like, damn, dog, chill a little bit. It ain't that fucking serious. But, hey, there's a lot of people that say shit like that about Cyborg, about Nunes. Like, but, hey, it is what it is. We'll move on, though. Quick topics, like I said. I spoke to UFC flyweight champion Henry Cejudo, says Phil Murphy. He says he wants TJ next, not Demetrius Johnson. He says he'd take the fight at 125, 135, heavyweight, whatever. So he wants TJ Dillashaw. He'll fight him at any weight class. And I want to hear this quote. I just don't see Cejudo. Maybe he did, but I don't think Cejudo would be that dumb to come out and say I won't fight Demetrius next. Now he's saying he wants TJ and not Demetrius. He'd rather fight him next. But I think we all know Demetrius Johnson deserves a rematch. If Demetrius Johnson was healthy right now, fuck your TJ fight. DJ's getting that rematch. The saving grace for him is DJ himself said he can go fight somebody else because I'm not fighting him again until I'm 100%. So he's got time to fight TJ, but it's because DJ's injured. You know what I'm saying? Not because you're calling the shots, Cejudo. He's not calling the shots yet. Not yet. You just got the belt. Close decision. You ain't earned no money fight, no first champ fight. If you're getting a first champ fight, it's because TJ Dillashaw's coming down for your belt, not because you're getting gifted something here. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, he said also though it's very close to being made official. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm sticking to my guns. I'm sticking to some of the rumors and the hints and the reports. I actually believe that we'll be seeing TJ Dillashaw versus Dominic Cruz at the end of the year. I think we're going to see that. I think there's something to Dominic Cruz's teammate coming out and saying, coming soon, December, Dillashaw Cruz too. I think there's something to that. And then Chael Sonnen came out and said, well, I mean, it's hard to keep a secret in this business. If his teammate said it, it's probably true. Chael Sonnen, low-key, is always one of the first or second people to break news. Even though he doesn't do it like media, he'll just be on his podcast casually talking. You know, say some shit like, I'm pretty close to breaking this for you guys. Like, I don't want to say it's official, but I'm pretty close to telling you it's official. And it'll really be official, but he won't put the stamp on it. But he'll be breaking some news to you. Chael don't be fucking around. And so he also believes there might be some credence to that Cruz fight since his teammate opened his mouth. With that being said, another interesting topic. 26-year suspension. Seems like Ayada might be a little crazier than fucking USADA. Maybe not. This chick seemed to have a little bit of a history here. But either way, this chick recently fought in the UFC. So to see this was kind of crazy. Mara Romero, but Borella, like the UFC's first female Italian fighter, I believe, just got hit with a 26-year suspension by the Italian anti-doping agency. And I don't think it's for actually her testing. I think it's for like peddling steroids or something. But I'll read it to you. It says, The story is that Borella and her then boyfriend, rugby player Filippo Maserati, who was under police investigation centered around the Italian town of Placenza. A 2-year investigation was then known as Operation Flanker, led to the arrest of the couple along with 33 others. Sound like they got hit with the RICO charge or some shit. And they were charged with distribution and sale of cannabis, cocaine in multiple areas around the location. And I'm not going to lie, even though this is the story and shit, just knowing how that shit goes, sometimes there's some fuckery. Out of those 33 people, there's probably like 5 fucking people that sold a dime bag at a bar that got wrapped up in this shit because they just knew somebody. But hey, it is what it is. Whenever they want you, and then they're coming for you, they're coming. So it says the investigation discovered that Borella and Maserati were distributing drugs around bars, nightclubs, and sporting venues such as rugby and soccer matches. Borella was also believed to have been selling drugs at her gym. Hey, so unfortunate situation there. But the reason that it was a 26-year suspension is because in 2014 she was suspended by the National Anti-Doping Agency of Italy for 15 years due to trafficking of prohibited substances, and the suspension has now been extended to the 26 years, 2044, making it the whopping 26 years due to contravention of the article. So she was banned from fighting, and she fucked around and went around and fought. So they're like, okay, well, since you fought, now you're fucking even suspended even longer. So longest suspension I can personally say I've ever saw. Someone said she didn't pay for the right protection. Yeah, they weren't cutting the right check. You know, like her boyfriend's name or some shit was Filippo Maserati. You know what a Maserati is. I mean, he just sounds like a rich-ass dude. It sounds like she might have got caught in his shit, you know what I'm saying? Took her down with him on some shit. Some crazy shit, dog. Crazy shit. It ain't like she was no damn Grisella Blanca or no shit like that. But it is what it is. You know how that goes. Angela Magana, I wasn't even going to cover this. I don't give a fuck about what she's saying about president. I don't give a fuck about what Angela Magana's saying half the time. I'll follow her on the Simp Instagram so we can check her out on the Simp segment. But this girl ain't spitting no fucking knowledge. You know what I'm saying? She ain't winning no fight. She ain't spitting no knowledge. She's just spitting bullshit half the time. So why do I want to hear her talk politics? This girl, you know what I'm saying? She's always, why do you want to hear her talk politics? I mean, she does. It seems like a good cause and what she's doing. And there's a little video we can check out, but I gotta get to work. Goddamn, I got 30 minutes before I gotta be there. Angela Magana says this is the real story. Homelessness, pretty much what happened. Huge fucking hurricane, I believe, over in Puerto Rico. You guys recall that not too long ago. And I guess she's saying Trump's denying it or something. This is Trump's tweet. 3,000 people did not die in the 2 hurricanes, it says, that hit Puerto Rico. When I left the island after the storm hit, they had anywhere from 6 to 18 deaths. That's crazy. Yeah, you go from 3,000 to 6 to 18. I don't know. I'm not saying I believe Trump in this. I'm not saying I believe fucking Magana. I'm just bringing it to you guys. I want to show you a little of the video because it looks kind of crazy. But so yeah, they started to report really large numbers, like 3,000, says Trump. Angela Magana says, here we are, a year later, people still dying because of the storm and of the broken systematic governmental incompetence so perfectly exemplified by Trump. Who wrote this for you, sweetie? I didn't think you could put together a tweet like this. God damn. I'm pretty smart, and I had to slow down and read that shit. She said, and people are still dying because of the storm and the broken systematic governmental incompetence so perfectly exemplified by Trump himself. At Ricardo Rossello, this is La Puerta right now. We are left to die. Broadcast is no longer available. Damn, what the fuck? Why would you take it down? I literally was only going to talk about this because of her video. And what she did was she just walked around and showed what looked like a storm-hidden area where it looked like there still ain't been fixed and, you know, buildings are still down and busted up and shit like that. It just looked like it was still trashed from the hurricane. But now the video is no longer available, so we'll move on. Urijah Faber, still in the USADA testing pool, wouldn't put it past himself to fight again. I'm not going to play the video, copyright reasons, you know how that goes. But either way, this is something I've been talking about for a couple of days now. I didn't know he was still in the USADA testing pool. Now we do. But now with his protege, Cody Garbrandt, losing a second fight to TJ Dillashaw, Urijah Faber could come back as the head of Team Alpha Male and try and get that win. It's a fight we've never saw, a rivalry we did see the rivalry, but we never got to see the fight. We knew about TJ Dillashaw versus Team Alpha Male, but they never crossed paths before Urijah Faber retired. But Team Alpha Male's protege, Cody Garbrandt, came up and got to scrap TJ Dillashaw in 2 classic epic battles we probably won't forget for a long time. But now, TJ Dillashaw versus Team Alpha Male is kind of over. Unless a new challenger appears. Urijah Faber's back. He's talked about it in the past. I might come back and fight TJ Dillashaw. It would be a big fight. For TJ Dillashaw, it would be a high reward, low risk fight. Of all the top contenders in the bantamweight division currently, Urijah Faber's probably not there. He's not one of the best bantamweights in the world today. He is as far as like top 20 in the world all over probably. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's still one of the best. No, he's no slouch, don't get me wrong, but I'm talking about compared to the UFC. He's not competing in the top 5 of the bantamweight division today. So if he decided to come back out of retirement, I think when he retired, he might have been ranked like fucking 8, 10, something like that, somewhere around there. So it would be like TJ Dillashaw getting to fight the retired, like, 8th-ranked bantamweight for more money than anybody else, and there's a rivalry there. So that'd be a smart fight for TJ to take. And now that Cody's out the way, Urijah Faber might want to hop in and make that quick payday, quick couple mil off the pay-per-view or whatever the fuck. So he said he wouldn't put him past himself to fight again. Now, that's in MMA. He's already going to be fighting again in Jiu-Jitsu. And Quintet, I think, coming up. I was listening to UFC Unfiltered. Eddie Bravo and Urijah Faber were on there, and they were both talking about it. It's like a team event, 950 pounds per team, and you split it up between 5 people. So you can have like 2 heavyweights and 3 skinny dudes, and you know, and you don't know how you're going to match it up. You choose how you're going to send your lineup out there, and you go against someone else's lineup. It really seemed like a fun idea, this whole Quintet Jiu-Jitsu shit. But I don't know when it is, or I might actually fuck around and watch that because it seemed pretty fun as far as the concept. But Urijah Faber's competing in Jiu-Jitsu. Now he's got an opening to potentially jump the line at bantamweight, fight for the title. Maybe he takes that. We'll see. Bada Jr., Bob Cratchit in the building. The same way you go from handful of shoe shiners to 6 million, says Bob Cratchit. Bada Jr. says full-time reactor. Trey Gowdy roasting Clinton regarding Benghazi. Holy shit, I would have to do that on some whole other channel for sure, but like I did the other one. But yeah, I don't know. Bro, people have been like, there's been a couple people lately, like, full-time, you got to do reactions, do reactions, do reactions. I might start doing reactions on another channel. It's on tonight, says CFR Sports. Well, I got work tonight, so I might miss it tonight. But when I get off work, if it's still on, I'll probably check it out. So, yeah, man. Moving on, don't got much time. That's pretty much, Machida stands up for Werdum. That's one of his good friends, just saying, hey, USADA's fucked over a lot of us. Be wary. Before you jump out the window and call Werdum a fucking cheater, I'm letting you know he's probably innocent, like all of us. USADA's fucking us over for some... Bro, me personally, I'm not putting my tinfoil hat on because I don't want my shadow band back. But me personally, I don't know what it is. USADA's got something... I don't want to say USADA's got something against the Brazilian fighters. I'll just say Brazilian fighters, I don't know if they got dirty-ass labs over there. I don't know what. They need some GNCs and some Onyx over in Brazil. That's what I'll say. Because they keep going to these dirty-ass labs and their best fighters are getting popped because they got dirty supplements. They need some trusted supplements over there. That's what I'll say. I don't want to say USADA's just busting these Brazilians and fucking up their legacies. But there's been so many of these Brazilian fighters now. And I'm saying Brazilian because that's really what it seems like. It's not a bunch of fucking black dudes or white dudes that are getting flagged and then getting reinstated. It's a bunch of fucking Brazilian. Mainly Brazilian men aside from Cyborg, but a lot of these fucking Brazilian fighters get popped, get taken out of their fights, get their legacies tarnished, and then, oh, by the way, they were innocent. Dirty fucking supplements. So that's just some bullshit. So I don't know if Werdum was cheating. I don't believe he was cheating until we get a final fucking ruling. It's like until these full 2-year suspension is up, at any moment they could come back and say he was innocent. So I don't know what the fuck to believe. But it is what it is. Machida standing up for his good friend, Fabricio Werdum. Melvin Guillard facing 4 felony charges in 2 separate incidents. One of them, I believe, was this bar fight you can see on TMZ. Melvin Guillard getting into some shit, and it's unfortunate. I think he just got signed to the bare knuckle boxing, which would have been fun. And I know felony Charles Bennett's been wanting to fight him in MMA for a while, I think. Or, not Melvin Guillard. I think it's Melvin Guillard he's been wanting to fight. Melvin's a big dude, though. So, either way, facing 4 felony charges. Mugshot and shit's out there. I mean, so it is what it is, man. With that being said, I gotta fucking go, dog. I gotta figure some shit out. I gotta get to work. I gotta bada boom. I gotta bada boom. We'll be back either later tonight if we're watching that Quintet shit after work or something. Maybe we watch UFC 7 over on Twitch. We're still at UFC 7. Shout out to my boy Fat Ninja Flip. We had some fun, boy. We were on a roll watching UFC 4. It's crazy. You guys, I'm telling you, we were watching that shit. You would be surprised how many fighters from Street Fighter seem to be themed off of the original UFC fighters. I had a fucking list, dog. We found guy, like, there's so many fighters, like, from UFC 4 that eventually made Tekken. Now, of course, they added special effects to it and probably didn't give them no damn credit. But, and then when you think about it, Street Fighter, what is the closest to street fighting? MMA, right? So, they took a lot of these guys, like, you know, because it was different styles. In Street Fighter, you know, like Guile, you know, he had like that sambo throw, right? When you would go to the corner and throw somebody, he had like that sambo throw. There was a motherfucker, I forget his name, if Fat Ninja Flip's in here, he'll remind you. He had the same haircut as Guile, the same fucking style, the same judo background, judo throw. We went through 8 different fucking fighters. We found like one of the black dudes that was a boxer. He ended up being the black boxer from fucking Street Fighter. It was insane. And then come to find out, UFC 4 came out in like 1994, and like Tekken 3 came out in like 1995, like the year after. It was crazy, the rabbit hole we fucked around and went on. And I was like, I wonder if a lot of the UFC ever thought Tekken might be taking some of their, you know, because the UFC back in the day, UFC 1 through 7, all the way through, well, that's where I'm at now. But it was different people, different styles, different looks. One motherfucker come in with a boxing glove. This motherfucker come in and Ryu, you know who Ryu was? Fucking Hoist Gracie. Got the black belt on, one of the main characters. Yeah, y'all think we were fucking around. We were deep on that shit. So, with that being said, we're going to get out of here. I got to get to work, man. And who knows what I'm going to be doing after work, whether it's a stream, whether we're watching UFC 7, but we'll still probably be grinding. So, with that being said, tomorrow's UFC Moscow, doing the Fight Companion. Balrog, he was definitely one of the guys we pulled up. Balrog was one of the boxers from the original days. It was crazy, dog. But either way, man, maybe we'll cover that another day. With that being said, it is what it is, full-time family. Let the full-time family know what you guys think in the comments. We are